Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, folks, whenever and wherever you may be listening. This is Southern Gospel Point of View Podcast. Thank you so much for joining me today. It is a balmy 91 degrees here in South Georgia, but that's okay. That's okay. I have got my Cafe Campesino Mocha Java coffee keeping me company. It says 91 degrees while you're drinking coffee. Well, there's some things that just make sense, and that just makes sense to me. Kind of my comfort zone, if you will. Well, guys, we've got a great show. It's going to be a little shorter show than normal. My man Reggie is on vacation. He's supposed to call in, but I'm not real sure I can break him away from the beach. So we'll just kind of We'll give him a pass today, just in case. But we've got a great interview that one of my associates, Mr. Jim Yeary, he did an interview with Brian Walker of Legacy 5 back last year at the National Quartet Convention. And we're going to show, or not show, but we'll tell you about that. We've got some news coming up as well. We're going to kind of give you a little insight to a few things, and I hope that it will encourage you. I hope it'll give you a reason to think and maybe to pray about some of your favorite Southern Gospel artists. So I want to remind you right off the bat, be sure, give us a call or send us a text. Always, any time of the day at 865-315-7996. You can also check us out on Facebook or Twitter. Just search either Southern Gospel Point of View or the letters SOGOPOV. Now, you can find us on our website, of course. It's southerngospelpov.com. And there you can find a myriad of information. You can, of course, find our radio show. We post that every single week there that we just recorded. This week it is airing all across America on many different stations, but you can find it right there on our website, episode 110. I can't believe we're that far in this thing. But you can also check out our blog, which we'll be talking about here in just a few minutes. But in addition to that, you can find more information about the podcast, which you're listening to. You can go to our store. We have some Heather Gray t-shirts. Now, it is our old logo, but we are still actively using that. And that is on the back and on the front left chest. If you'd like one of those, you just go to that website, or you can call or text us, email me, whatever, and we'll make sure to get that out to you. We'd love for you to be able to share Southern Gospel Point of View. I'm going to get out of here just for a second, but I'll be right back after my buddy Pat Barker says a few words.
Hey guys, Pat Barker with the Guardians. Be sure to tune in to Southern Gospel Point of View.
All right, thanks, Pat. I appreciate that. Listen, I said at the onset of the show that I'm drinking my Cafe Campesino coffee, and this is Mocha Java, and I have a list here in front of me that I am trying out. Let's see how many I've got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different blends of coffee that I am wanting to try. I have tried 3 of those. Ethiopia Sidama Natural, and then Sumatra, and then now the Mocha Java. I think my next one is either going to be the Good Morning Plains or the Mad Poet. So I hope that you'll check them out. That is cafecampesino.com. That's CAFECAMPESINO.com. And you can sign up for their newsletter, and they will tell you, they kind of have a new flavor each month. Maybe new is not the word, but they give you plenty of information there, give you the history behind some of these as well. And so I have recently started drinking their coffee, and I absolutely love it. I was stuck on those little Keurig K-cups for a while, but I'm telling you, if you get some fresh coffee and you taste them side by side, makes a world of difference. So I am going to read you first. This is out of the September edition of the Singing News. And some of you may have this, some of you may not. But we are celebrating the 50th year of a song. And I'm going to give you the preview here. It says the year is 1970. The Boeing 747 makes its first commercial flight. The crew of Apollo 13 survives a nearly fatal moon mission. Across the nation, gasoline costs 36 cents a gallon. And in California, a 24-year-old preacher's son with dreams of becoming successful in gospel music writes a song in the basement of a church at 2 a.m. The song is soon thrown into the trash. Thankfully, someone retrieves the lyric, and his young family group goes on to perform it. The songwriter, Ronnie Henson. The song, The Lighthouse. The year 2020 marks 50 years since Ronnie penned the iconic song that propelled his family group, the Hensons, to the national stage. So, happy 50th birthday to the wonderful, wonderful song, The Lighthouse. We're thankful that somehow, some way, God always seems to save things that is in the trash. That's what he did to me. That's what he did to me in 1992, and I am absolutely thankful for that. So, I told you about our blog, and each week we do our best to, we don't do our best. We actually do it. We write an article for the local station or the local newspaper here in our town of Americus, Georgia. And in this particular, newspaper, right now they are only doing digital versions, but I want to point something out. Now you can check them out. It's America's Times Recorder. You can just Google that and find their website address. I'll actually put it in the show notes. But I want to read you just a portion of this, and then I'll ask you to go to our website. Just click on blog, and you can read it for yourself. But the title is The Pandemic and Southern Gospel. I've held off on writing about the effects of the pandemic and Southern Gospel for a while now. I suppose I was hoping against hope that things would level off and our favorite groups and friends could get back out there. In recent days and weeks, I've heard and read about the effects of COVID-19 on the Southern Gospel industry. To a small minority, the effects have been seen in small attendance to their concerts, possibly because of fear, but generally because of restrictions of crowd sizes. Some have had weekly cancellations, and unfortunately, some of those have been for dates far in the distance. For many of the artists that we see on Daystar, TBN, the National Quartet Convention stage, or in the Singing News magazine, their income is made on the road, promoting themselves or their group, selling albums, booking events, and moving product from their tables. They don't work a secular job, so there's no steady paycheck. There are special events held during this quarantine that have served to help these folks, but they are so few and far between that these artists cannot support themselves. Now, just the week before last, I believe it was August the 17th, the release came from the Perrys that both Troy Peach and Andrew Goldman would step down from their roles within the Perrys. And that breaks my heart because these two men have been there through thick and thin with Libby and with Jared Stuffle, especially after the death of Tracy. And so my heart goes out to the Perrys, Libby and Jared, and their family. But my heart also goes out to Andrew and his wife and their new baby, and then Troy Peach and his wife and his boys. And the truth of the matter is, in spite of this pandemic, there are people that financially are struggling. And those people, namely, that are struggling are the people that you enjoy seeing on the stage. Those are the people that you enjoy pulling your iPhone or your Android phone up and clicking play and hearing some of the greatest music in the world it has not just affected the Perrys or the McCameys or anyone else. It has affected every single group out there. I'm good friends with Ricky Atkinson. And even Ricky Atkinson and his brother and sister-in-law, Sam and Labriska Atkinson, they have been impacted. Their group is Ricky Atkinson and Compassion. They have been impacted in that they're not on the road constantly. But something has been said in the industry about Ricky in that he has had the flexibility that if someone calls him at a moment's notice, he can get in the truck or he can get in the car and he can go and he can fill a date. That may be every weekend. That could be every other week. It could be, a couple weeks in between. But even for him, it has affected him and his finances. Now you take a group like Greater Vision, which this previous weekend that I'm actually recording this, they were on the road, I believe, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And so hopefully they are kind of getting back in that groove, and I have to hope that that's the same for everyone. But we've had online concerts, we've had Facebook concerts, we've had all of these different things that they are consistently giving to the fans, such as myself and you as our listeners. But my question is, what are we giving back to them? We live in a day where we can go to YouTube and they are readily uploading their music to YouTube so that they get exposure. But we as fans, we are sufficient in ourselves just to listen to the song that we like on YouTube, or we call it up on Spotify or Pandora, or maybe on Apple Music or on Amazon Prime Music or Amazon Music. But my question is, what would it take if we were to just decide, instead of streaming the music, to actually purchase the music? Now, for our radio show and for this podcast, I'm consistently getting music. I have new music right here from Joy Unspeakable Music Promotions that I got in the mail a couple weeks ago. I have got emails from Daywin and from Crossroads and from Chapel Valley Music. I'm going to try to see if I've got it right now. I don't have it right here, but I receive whole CDs from Crossroads Music or Horizon or Sunlight, and that's great. I love it. But you know something? More often than not, I am downloading their music. I am paying on, most of the time, it's Apple Music. I am taking money out of my own pocket to pay for the music that I could get for free as a radio show and as a reviewer of their albums or of their songs. But I'm taking the initiative to spend some money to invest in them. Because guess what? If all we ever do is stream, they're not getting it. Now, I know there's going to be people that's going to argue with me, and they're going to say, you know what? I pay $9 a month for Apple Music or for this streaming service or for that. That's great, and I'm glad that you do. But understand that there has to be so many thousands of listens to one song before it ever amounts to something that the artist is going to get. But if you will spend your $9 or $15 or whatever it is on a physical CD or on a digital CD, that money is going to go to them. Now realize that they may not get all of that if we do it digitally, but understand that doing that helps them. I would encourage other radio stations to do the exact same thing. Invest a little bit of money into it. Now, just 2 weeks ago, I spent $40 on different groups. I'm going to call them up, and I'm going to tell you which ones they were. And I want you to know that I do this happily because I want them to continue in it. Heart to Heart, the Lefevre Quartet, Gold City, Triumphant quartet. For some reason, I did not have Triumphant's last album. Have no idea what in the world went on there. Brian Free and Assurance, Karen Peck and New River. These are all songs and music that I've invested my own money in. This podcast is not supported by anyone else. This is me. This is my money that's going out, that's paying for this and paying for that. And I do that with joy in my heart, because listen, I have listened to Brian Free and Assurance for years upon years. I've listened to Karen Peck and New River for years upon years. Gold City, the same thing. And I want them to continue. But if we are not investing in their ministries, if that's what you want to call it, then they too will find themselves like the Perrys, that they've had to part ways with great people because they've not been able to support the individuals within the group. So that's my little rant there. But I do ask you, if you will, to go check out the blog, and actually I will post that just as soon as I'm done recording. Now, I told you that we've got Brian Walker. Now, my buddy Jim Yeary, he is the pastor of Bays Mountain Baptist Church up in Knoxville, Tennessee. It's in South Knoxville, and it's right off of Bays Mountain Road. I encourage you to check it out. They're on Facebook. Look up Bays Mountain Baptist Church, and you'll find Brother Jim Yeary. He does a web broadcast every Sunday morning, every Sunday night, every Wednesday night. I encourage you to check him out. But he did me a favor last year and went to the National Quartet Convention and was able to get quite a few interviews that we will begin to play over the next few, the next foreseeable future. Let's put it that way. And I thank him for doing that. And I also am thankful for Brian Walker. Now, I messaged Brian just before I got on the air and asked if I could maybe ask him some follow-up questions. You'll find some information that, especially towards the end of that conversation, that he begins to tell us some things. And so we will probably spend the next few days reaching out to him and trying our best to follow up with that. And we'll update you on that as well. So let's take a real quick break, and we'll be right back with the interview with Brian Walker and Jim Yeary.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Jim Yeary with Southern Gospel Point of View. I'm standing here at the National Quartet Convention on Saturday morning with Brian Walker. Brian Walker is no stranger to Southern Gospel music. He is now the baritone singer with the Legacy 5. Brian, tell us a little bit about your stint with Legacy 5.
Well, I've only been here about 5 months now, and things are going really, really well. I got some great guys to travel with. Joined at the exact same time as Lee Black, who's our new tenor singer as well. And man, we're just been blown away at people's response to the new sound of the group, and got a brand new album out, Pure Love, and a brand new single called What Kind of Man. And so we are very excited. I'm loving getting to travel with a guy that I, for lack of a better phrase, kind of idolized, and Scott Fowler. So getting a chance to ride the bus with him and learn and listen and then just enjoy the time together.
Now, you spent some time with the Perrys. Tell us when you joined the Perrys and how all of that transpired.
Joined the Perrys in 2010. Was actually on duty here in Sevierville when that happened. And I had just finished my American Idol stint, and they had heard me through American Idol, and they had known me through the Dixie Melody Boys as well. But I really got a chance to hear my voice there. And so Tracy Stuffle called me. I was actually turning around to go chase after a vehicle who was speeding. And so I answered the phone, my siren was on, and my lights were going. And I said, hello, and then I immediately shut off my siren and my lights and pulled over on the side of the road. Tracy said, buddy, you all right? And I said, yeah, man, I'm good. I said, I just was chasing after a speeder, but today's their lucky day.
So you was with the Dixie Melody Boys?
I was with the Dixie Melody Boys. That's where I got my start. Yep. Yeah. Got my start with the Dixie Melody Boys and traveled for 4 years with the Perrys. And was there with Joseph Habedank and Libby and Tracy when Tracy was healthy. And then Tracy had his stroke, and was there through all of that and the transition through that. And then, of course, after Tracy came back on the road, wheelchair bound, I was there through that until Troy Peach took over.
So you was there during the rough times of Tracy and the Perrys.
Sure was.
And major survival of that. Libby really done well through that, didn't she?
She did. She did a very good job.
Yeah. So do you do any songwriting?
Actually, not yet.
Not yet.
This may be the first interview I may have ever said this, but I woke up this morning at 4:30 and realized that God had given me a lot of ideas for songs, and I've written about 7 or 8 of them down. And it's interesting that you just brought that up, because I was just talking to Scott Inman, who's one of my best friends, and then Lee Black, who's our new tenor, who's also an incredible songwriter.
Right.
And God was just like, just get those guys together and tell them your ideas. And so I'm about to pour that on and see what happens.
I pitched an idea to Rodney, matter of fact, that I've had for a while. So
Did you?
You don't never know what God's got. So
Never know.
So where do you see the life of Brian Walker going? I know it's new with Legacy 5, so where do you see that?
Excuse me. I see longevity here. I really do. It's something I feel like the group we have together, and Matt, myself, Josh, and Lee, and Scott, I think there's a really core nucleus to us as far as the 5 of us. We all get it. We get what we're out there to do. Nobody's trying to step on anybody's toes. We all have our job, and we do our job, and we go on.
What's an amazing thing that a group usually has change, but very rarely do you see 2 changes at one time,
Right.
and it comes like God orchestrated, and so it's an
very
amazing
much been
thing
that
that
way.
happened. And so what's the biggest thing going on with Legacy 5?
Well, we got a brand new album, Pure Love, and that's going. We've got a lot of great events coming up this year. We're going to Israel in 2020. We're also doing a Memorial Day weekend event at the Ark in Kentucky. People can find out about all that kind of stuff at legacy5.com. We've got all that on our website in the events tab under our tour page. And so people can go check that out. We've got a lot of great stuff going on this year.
Tell me about your personal family.
Okay. I'm married to Bethany of 6 years. My wife, Bethany, most beautiful girl I've ever laid my eyes on.
Awesome.
And I've got I've got 2 kids right now. I've got a boy, Bingham, who's 3. I have Bayla, who's 1. And as of next Friday, October the 4th, I will have my 3rd.
Wow.
So I will have another little girl. So yeah, me and Bingham are officially overrun. Outnumbered.
So do you ever do any solo things or aspire to do that? Or?
No, I don't know. Maybe one day.
Yeah.
But right now, I really feel like this is a perfect fit for me and for my family.
Tell folks how they can find you in Legacy 5.
Well, you can find Legacy 5 at legacy5.com. We're on all forms of social media: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all those great things. You can just look up Legacy 5. We're on all those forms of social media. I'm personally on social media as well, and all those same forums. And I don't have a website myself, but you can find me through Legacy 5.
Great. Again, we're here with Brian Walker, brand new baritone with Legacy 5. Thank you so much,
Thank
Brian,
you
for
very
your
much.
valuable time with the Southern Gospel Point of View.
Thank you very much.
Hey everybody, this is Ernie Haas of Ernie Haas' Signature Sound, and I'm encouraging you to tune in to Southern Gospel Point of View.
Hey guys, and once again, I want to say thanks for joining us today. Thanks to Pat Barker and Ernie Haas for giving us a quick liner as well. For Mr. Jim Yeary, thank you, sir, for taking care of that interview with the one and only Mr. Brian Walker. Hey, I almost forgot I told you about Cafe Campesino, but I got to tell you this. I mentioned having a Keurig machine, and I do. I'm actually staring at a Keurig machine right now, and I've not used it in a while because I found a friend in Scotland that he put me on to a French press. Well, that brought up some more questions, and he began to tell me about another contraption, if you will, and it's a vacuum coffee machine made by Bodum, or Bottom, however you want to say it, BODUM.com. You guys need to check them out. Of course, they sell things all across the world in package stores, Walmart, things like that, and you can find most of their things there. But I've got a French press, and then I also have this vacuum contraption. It's called Peebo, P-E-B-O, and then, I got tired of grinding the coffee myself. Now, Cafe Campesino, they can grind it for you. That's not a problem, but I like that fresh ground taste, and so I actually bought one of the electric burr grinders from Bodum as well. And so I'm set. I'm good to go. But check them out too. BODUM.com. Bodum or Bottom.com. And then be sure to check out CafeCampesino.com. rebooted.com to get some of the greatest coffee in the world. I'm telling you without a doubt. Listen, folks, I'm going to get on out of here. Thanks so much for joining us. Be sure to check us out. Check us out on Facebook. I'd love to interact with you there. Man alive, we have a good time every once in a while. I've been putting up some pictures and trying to trick folks to see who they were, but everybody seems to be getting them. So either I'm not doing a good job or you know your Southern Gospel artists. So check us out on Facebook.com/SOGOPOV. Call us, give us a text, 865-315-7996, or you can contact us on our website, and that's southerngospelpov.com. Be sure to check out our blog, our radio shows. Continue to check it out here on the podcast. Share it if you will. Please, I would love for you to do that. And until next time, guys, I just want to say again, thank you so much for tuning in. This is James, and you've been listening to Southern Gospel Point of View.